Okay, let's start with our warm-up. We will be doing the same 4 exercises for each warm-up that we do with the Otago exercise program. You will first start in sitting, and you want to be in your chair that has a firm seat and a firm back. The very first exercise will be neck rotation. And first, you'll want to scoot forward in your chair so that your feet are flat on the floor. This will be different for everyone. Those with longer legs can actually have their feet flat on the floor when they're sitting in the chair without scooting forward. Those with shorter legs, like myself, you need to scoot. For the neck rotation exercise, put your hands on your knees, and we're going to do this a little differently. Instead of starting by turning your head, I actually want you to start by sliding your hand down your knee, and then sliding the opposite hand down your knee. And what you can see is that by sliding my hand down my knee, I'm getting a gentle twist in my spine, and my head is naturally following my shoulders. While doing this exercise, you want to be very respectful of any pain or any stiffness. Do not push in to pain or stiffness. The other thing you want to make sure is that you do not get dizzy. If you get dizzy while doing this exercise, you need to speak to your doctor. The goal is to do 10 rotations. We're at about 9 right now, so we will do 1 more and 1 more. And then you'll end by facing forward. The next exercise that we're going to do is a posture exercise called the chin tuck. So in our society, we tend to get very rounded and we tend to have forward heads. This makes the muscles in the back of our neck very, very tight. So for this exercise, what we're going to be focusing on is having very good posture and stretching these muscles here in the very back. Again, you're going to be sitting straight with your feet planted on the floor, and you're very gently just going to glide your head back on your neck. It's sort of a strange feeling, and you will make this lovely double chin while you're doing it. But what you should be doing is feeling your head gliding back on your neck and a very gentle stretch in the back of your head, these little muscles back here, and then relaxing. Here's 4, and relax. When people do this exercise, it's a very small motion, and be very careful that you're not looking up or looking way down. You should just be looking straight ahead. That's 6 and 7. And again, gentle, gentle movements. And here's 9 and 10. Good job. So our next warm-up exercise is done in standing. So you want to start with your feet around hip-width apart. And first thing you want to do is a posture check. Again, you want to stand with your hips over your feet, your shoulders over your hips, nice and tall. And you really want to ground your feet into the floor. And you're going to gently do what's called the trunk rotation exercise. I, again, start this exercise from my hips. I'm just going to twist my hips to the right and then to the left. And my spine is going to follow. It's a very gentle exercise. Should be very comfortable to do. Be very, very aware of any stiffness or pain. Don't push into it. And we're going to go for 10 or so rotations. When you're doing this, you'll actually should feel your feet shifting left and right just a little bit as well. Nice and gentle. You may find you can actually twist a little further each time. Just go with it. And everything nice and loose and ready. Our last warm-up is an exercise that just focuses on our posture. So you're going to stand, do a quick little march in place, get your feet under you, and I want you to stand nice and tall. Don't lock your knees out. Have a soft bend in your knees, shoulders back, and you really should feel like someone has a string and they're pulling you straight up to the ceiling. You're going to hold this position and you're going to take 3 deep breaths. When you're breathing, you can think about filling your belly up with air and blowing it out. Getting some good oxygen into our body. And then just take a little break and relax. And you should feel like you're a little straighter and a little more oxygenated. And we're going to do that one more time as our final warm-up exercise. So again, just get your feet under you, take a couple steps, and then stop. Stand up nice and tall, root deep into the ground, feel like somebody's pulling you up and you're making space in your spine. And you're going to take those 3 deep breaths while keeping your shoulders relaxed. And now we're ready to start the exercise program. So now let's start with our leg strengthening exercises. The first exercise we're going to do is the only exercise that's done in a chair for the Otago exercise program. This exercise is called terminal knee extension. Sort of a fancy word. We're bending and straightening our leg, and our goal is to strengthen our quadricep or thigh muscles. Before we start the exercise, you need to put your ankle weights on. I like putting them on both feet to start. And I find it's easiest to put the weights on when I'm sitting in a chair. So you're just going to strap these around each leg, like so. And remember, like I said, you want to use ankle weights regardless if you put actual weights in them. So if you're just getting started, you can just use an empty sock or an empty ankle weight around your ankle. For this exercise, again, you want to start with your feet flat on the floor. You want to have very good posture, and you want to engage your belly muscles, engage your core muscles. And what you're going to do is lift your right foot off of the floor and straighten your leg. So you'll feel your muscle right here working, and slowly lower it back down. Now, there's some ways to cheat on this exercise, and I'm going to show you those ways first, and then we'll get going. The first way people cheat is they lean forward and back while they're doing this. Not only is this really bad for your back, it really isn't helping you get these muscles strong. The other way that people cheat is they go really fast. So they throw their leg forward and back, and they're using momentum. Again, you won't get the full benefit of the exercise. Sitting up very tall, belly in, moving slow. We'll do 1 set of 10 on the right, and then 1 set of 10 on the left, and we'll repeat. Let's go. When you're doing the exercise, make sure you straighten your leg as much as you can. And again, you're working on slow and controlled movement. There's 7, 8. You want to stay nice and tall here. And 10. And then you're going to switch to the other side. You may find it's actually really hard to keep control of your leg while you're lowering down. So you want to go nice and slow, and you're getting the full benefit of that exercise. And that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. We'll do one more set of 10 on each, starting on the right. If you have any pain with this exercise, or if you can't get your full range of motion, meaning you can't straighten your leg all the way or bend it, you can find your pain-free range and still get a really great benefit from this exercise. I have a really good friend who always says that motion is the lotion. And so any kind of movement to keep your joints healthy will make a big difference. There you go. Got a couple more on this right leg and then it'll be done. And 10. And again, you should be feeling the muscles in your legs working hard here. Last time on the left. Good. You can feel those muscles working. Good. And remember to keep your belly tight and sitting up nice and tall. Get a full body workout with this one exercise. And 10. Our next exercise is done in standing with the ankle weights. This is one of my favorite exercises. It's called standing hip abduction. What you're going to do is you're going to stand next to a chair, and you can use this chair for support at any point in time. I want you to start focusing on your posture, standing up nice and tall. And there's a trick to this exercise. The trick is you're going to bring your foot out slightly, and then you're just going to lift and lower from this position, just like this. 3, 4. And you'll see as I'm doing this, I'm not shifting my shoulders. I'm standing nice and tall. And I'm using this for just a little bit of support. Good. Now we'll go ahead and do the other side. Again, you want to use the chair, or for more of a balance challenge, you can actually do it without the chair for support. You're going to bring your legs slightly out to the side and lift and lower, just like this. As you do the exercise, again, nice and tall, your toes are staying forward, you're not turning them out, your hips are staying forward, you're not rotating, and your shoulders are staying over your hips. Using your belly muscles and your breathing. And trying to stay in control of the exercise. Good job. We're going to move to the other side. We're going to do another set of 10. One thing that I want you to pay attention to as you're doing the exercise is that you're not bobbing. This is not the exercise. Again, you're nice and tall. So you're going to lift and lower. It's a great exercise to help you strengthen your hips. And I actually feel this exercise a lot more in my standing hip when I'm doing it, because this hip is working really hard to stabilize my body as I'm lifting the other side. Great. And then we'll shift to the other side for that last set of 10. Again, bringing that foot out, making sure the toe is pointed forward, and you're going to lift and lower. Our hips are really important to help stabilize us as we walk and help us maintain our balance. We don't do a lot of activity from side to side in our daily movements, but those side to side muscles are really critical for keeping us nice and strong and balanced. I think we got one more. Good. Okay, so now we're going to increase the standing knee flexion exercise and add another set of 10. So at this point, you want to make sure you've got a little bit of weight in your ankle weights, and we're going to do that exercise just like we did before. You're going to use the back of the chair. You're going to stand up nice and tall, and you're just going to gently lift your heel behind you and lower it to the floor. For this exercise, I really encourage that people use the back of the chair and not let go, because I think it really helps us keep our posture and the alignment for this exercise. It's really easy to lose that otherwise. There you go. Good, and again, we're really using the back of the leg to do this motion, using our gluteus maximus, biggest muscle in the body, getting it nice and strong to hold us upright all day long. There you go. And again, you're not kicking it, you're not using momentum. I lost count, but I think this is 10. Good. Reposition, take a deep breath. And then again, one more set of 10. And when you return your foot, you want to make sure it's right underneath you. You don't want to kick it way forward. You just want to put it straight down on the ground. Good. Very good. And then you're going to go ahead and change sides again. Good. And you're going to feel your body weight will shift over. It's going to shift over to the right leg when you're working the left leg. Totally fine. Just don't want to lose control of it. So let it shift, but keep your posture nice and tall. Good. And 10. Good. Excellent job. So remember to take off your weights and we'll move forward with the program. All right, standing toe raises, 2 sets of 10. This next exercise is a little strange. It's the opposite of the heel rise. So we're going to be raising our toes up. I'm going to show you real quickly and then we're going to talk about it. So I'm going to be lifting my toes up and balancing on my heels, just like this. So I'm lifting my toes up and I'm lowering down. Now to do this particular exercise, I'm using the muscles on the front of my leg. If you ever started a running program or played soccer, you get what those are called shin splints, where the front of your leg gets really sore. Those are the muscles that we're working here. We don't tend to use them very much, but they're very, very important for walking and helping maintain our balance. When you do this exercise, really important that you have a chair in front of you. Really important you have your hands on the chair. Because what you do not want to do is raise your feet up by pushing your butt back. The other thing you don't want to do is go backwards with your upper body. So really good posture. Use your abdominal muscles. Think about knitting your ribs in. And if you need to, put a little bit of pressure on your hands, which will really make sure your upper body is totally stabilized. All right? So what I'm doing here is I'm resting my hands on the chair and I'm pushing down slightly on my hands. And when I do that, my upper body doesn't move. All right? It's much harder to hold that, to keep my upper body still without that extra support. So here we go. So we're going to go ahead and stand up nice and tall, both hands on the chair to start, just a little bit of pressure on the hands pushing down, lifting the feet up. 1, good, and 2, and 3. If you can't get your toes up this high, if you're just getting this high, that's okay. If you're just thinking about lifting your toes, that's okay. You're still getting a great benefit here. So this is 5, and 6, and 7, and 8. See, my upper body is really still. I'm not leaning forward. My hips are underneath me. And 10. Good. And then just march in place, roll your ankles around a little, loosen everything up. Again, we don't do a lot of exercise to strengthen those shin muscles, but oh my goodness, they're important. The tibialis anterior muscle. And we're going to do that next set of 10. So again, you're going to start really good posture, shoulders over your hips, hips over your heels, a little bit of pressing down, and you're going to go 1, good. And you just lift up as high as you can, and 3, good. You might be a little sore tomorrow, that's okay. 5, and 6, and 7. If you want a little challenge, you can hang on with one hand. There you go. 9. Only do this if you've got good control of your upper body. And 10. Good. And then ultimately, you're going to try to do it without using your hands. Good job. Okay, so we're going to take that squat exercise and we're going to make it a little more challenging by adding another set of 10 repetitions. And again, you want to be in your pain-free range when you're doing this exercise, so figure out what that is, and you don't have to go down very deep to get the benefits. So you want to stand, make sure your feet are hip-width apart, standing up nice and tall. You can use the chair for balance if you'd like. You can also try the exercise without the chair. You want to keep your spine straight. You start the movement by moving your backside back and then up. So that's 1 and 2. Good. I keep the majority of my weight in my heels and push up through my heels when I'm coming up. There's 4. It's a great exercise. It's a super good exercise for your leg muscles and your core muscles. Doing great. Keep your chest nice and open and eyes up. Good. And remember, you don't have to bend your knees very much. So find that pain-free range that you can work in. Okay, we've got 1 more, I think. Might have put a few extra in there. Good. Take a little break. You can shake your hips out if you want. Take a deep breath. And then we'll do our next set of 10. And we're going to go down 1. Good. Keeping that spine super straight. That's it. Making those big muscles in your backside and your leg do all the work. Good. If you're getting tired, need a little extra support, hand on the chair. Good. And you'll notice I'm going pretty slow when I do this. So no speedy squats. Good. Belly in. Got 2 more. last one. Excellent. Okay, so the next exercise is our sit to stand exercise, and today we'll be doing 2 sets of 10. So again, you want to get your chair, get it against the wall, and go ahead and sit down. You want to scoot forward in the chair, and if you need to, use your hands to push off. But if you're ready, try doing the exercise, at least the first set, without using your hands at all. And we're going to stand all the way up and all the way down. We're not going to use momentum. We're using our muscles to control the push-up and the sit-down. I absolutely love this exercise because it's so practical. It's something we can do every day. So you can do this actual exercise at any point during your day and get some great benefits. You don't have to do it just as part of the Otago exercise program. So here's 7. And 8, good, and 9, and 10. Good job. And then we're going to sit. Good, take a little break, and we'll do one more set of 10. If you need to use your hands on the second set, feel free. And again, just make sure you're not using any momentum to get up out of the chair. So we'll go ahead and start with 1. There you go. You'll find if you're using a chair that's a little lower to the ground, it's harder. Really best to just use a standard height chair if you can. It's really hard to do this exercise when you're like in a sofa or any kind of a cushy chair. Good. Nice. People can usually see the benefit of this exercise really quickly. I've had a lot of clients come to me and say, you know, I went to my favorite restaurant and I was able to get out of that really cushy booth because my legs are strong now. So we got 8, 9, and last one. Okay, our next exercise is what we call a static balance exercise, and what that means is we're putting ourselves in a really narrow base of support, and then we're going to hold that position. And ideally, we're going to hold it without using our arms for balance, but definitely use your arms for balance if you need it. The exercise is called the Tandem stance exercise, and in this exercise, you're going to do a heel-toe position, or what I call a tightrope position, the kind of position you would hold as if you were standing on a tightrope. We're going to start this exercise with our left leg forward. Now, please note, if you recently have had hip surgery or a hip replacement surgery and you're not supposed to cross your legs, do not do this exercise. Or if you have any other reason why you can't put one foot in front of the other. The modification actually is even just standing in a little bit more of a narrow position, like with your feet close together. But for now, this is the exercise we're going to do. You're going to put your left foot in front of your right foot, and once you have your balance, you're going to hover your hand right above the back of the chair. And the reason why I say hover your hand is that the minute you feel like you're losing your balance, just put your hand down. And that immediately increases your base of support. All right? It's just very silly to overstress your balance abilities and lose your balance doing this exercise. Just put your hand down. All right, so start with standing in really good posture, and then you're going to move your left foot directly in front of your right foot in that tightrope position. And then when you're ready, you're going to let go. And we're going to hold this position for 30 seconds. And all you're doing is maintaining your balance. Like I said, if you feel like you're starting to lose it, you can put your hand down and then put your hand back up the minute you can. If you can hold this position for 30 seconds without any upper extremity support, you are doing incredibly well. And it's a really fun exercise because you can really see the progress. So keep holding it. Great. And put your hand down and step out of the position. Very good. Now we're going to do the exact same exercise on the opposite, or with the opposite leg in front. So now what you're going to do is you're going to put your right foot in front of your left foot, and just notice this may feel different to you. And again, you're going to, when you're ready, you're going to let go. And you can see for me, this is different. I have to work a little bit harder. And again, you're going to hover that hand. That really narrow base of support is challenging all the muscles in my ankles. They're sending all the information up to my brain as to how to correct so I can maintain this base of support. You want to keep your shoulders relaxed, keep your belly in, and hold it for just a few more seconds. And hand down and step out and relax. Excellent job. So as you continue to do that exercise, just keep continuing to challenge your balance and really focus on not using your hand to support yourself. Very good. This next exercise is our last static balance exercise. And like the tandem stance, we're going to be in a very narrow base of support, but this time we're just going to be standing on one leg instead of two. Very similar. You're going to put your hand on the back of the chair, standing up nice and straight. You're going to lift your heel up of your left foot so you're standing on your right. And the trick to this exercise is not letting your hips shift out. You've got to stand nice and tall. And the other trick to this exercise is keeping a little bit of space in between your legs. So if you're squeezing your legs together or if you're hooking the foot behind, this is cheating. You're not going to get the benefit of the exercise. All right, so start with your feet right underneath you. You're going to go ahead, shift your weight over to the right, pick your left foot up, and then you're going to hover that hand and hold this position for 30 seconds. And you will really start to feel it in your right hip muscle, that hip abductor muscle. That muscle is so important to help us keep our pelvis aligned and straight and supported while we're walking. And you'll soon find out that 30 seconds is a long time. If you need to, put your hand down. If you need to, put your toes down. And then pick back up when you're balanced again and go for it. And we're almost at the end. And hand down, foot down. Excellent job. And we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. And again, you may find there's a difference in your ability to balance on your left foot versus your right. So we're going to shift over, pick your right foot up, and then we're going to go ahead and let go and hold this position for 30 seconds. Really great exercise. You can do this throughout your day whenever you want. You can do this while you're brushing your teeth. You can do this anytime you're standing at your kitchen counter. It's just a fantastic balance exercise. You don't just have to do it when you're doing this particular exercise program. And the more you practice, the better you'll get. Excellent job. Hand down, foot down, relax. So the next exercise is backwards walking. Highly recommend for this exercise that you have a wall close by just for stability. And when you're first doing it, if you're a little nervous about your balance, go ahead and just keep your hand on the wall. What we're going to do is we're going to take 10 steps walking backwards. Again, really great challenge for our balance and challenge for our brains to be moving in a way we don't normally move. That's the big benefit to this exercise. So you're just going to take a regular step back. Good. And you can see I'm just keeping my hand on the wall. Great. After I do my 10 steps, I'm just simply going to turn around. Good. And you just can do any wall that you have access to. And when you get comfortable with this, And of course, make sure that your hallway is clear, that there's nothing you're going to trip over. But you can practice doing it without the upper extremity support. And when you get to the end of your wall, you turn around. And we're going to do this sequence one more time. Just simply step back. Can be a little scary at first, but it's a really great exercise to do. After you hit your 10 steps, turn around, and your last 10 steps. And again, the balance challenge is not holding onto the wall, but you always want to be close enough to the wall that it's going to increase your base of support if you need it. And I like to do these slowly. I think you get much bigger benefit from the exercise by slowing it down.